everybody. My name's Patricia Clint and I'm the Climate Challenge Officer for Dalmarnock Centre, and this project is part of a wider picture throughout the country about trying to tackle climate challenge problems and re-green our beautiful country of Scotland, particularly here in Dalmarnock. As you can see, we've had such a massive upheaval with the Commonwealth Games, which I'm sure will be fantastic. And without all this, probably our wee garden wouldn't be happening. I'll run through the presentation that I've devised here. There are green gyms and community gardens and reforestation springing up all over the place, which is fantastic. But as far as we're concerned here in Dalmarnock, it is super fantastic. This area has suffered a whole catalogue of difficulties since the Industrial Revolution. We all know about the Clydebank bombings. Well, just down the road there, our power station was bombed and people had to be evacuated. The struggles with the Carlton Weavers, the loss of the steel industry, all that. So we're on the up, and hopefully this community garden will give a wee bit of a lift to local people to improve the area and improve their lives. So what we have is the Legacy Garden. It will be a lasting resource for the people of Dalmarnock. It will commemorate the Commonwealth Games in a new era and a local approach to carbon reduction and energy awareness. It will carry the ethos of community endeavour, health improvement, reduction of social isolation, education and training, and the garden will provide a locus for a new generation with a mind to improving the environment, sustainable living and reducing fuel poverty. Am I moving that? I've just said all that, haven't I? Yep, here we go. No, very technical. As you can see, this is the plan for the Baltic Street, which is situated just around the corner, and we have an idea of how we want the garden to look. We want it to have a modern, high-tech area with growing site, which you see up the top. That'll be an allotment area for growing vegetables. Then we'll have the mini orchard, and on the periphery of the garden we'll have more fruit trees. So it's a mini orchard, an allotment, a pond, wildlife space. There'll be a children's area, and we're also hoping in the near future to have an eco house, which will demonstrate to people all the new technologies with regard to solar heating, geothermal heating, conserving energy in their own homes and improving the homes in the locality. So that's going to be part of the learning. And I'll just move on. This is some of the ideas that we want to get local people involved in creating. Woodcraft, landscaping, sort of willowing, all sorts of things. We want also to do a big project on nest boxes to bring the wildlife back into the area, hedgehog homes, bring back the ladybirds, the butterflies, everything like that. So that will all be created by local people, and they'll develop all these new skills, which hopefully will open doors and opportunities for them to maybe go into further education along the ecology line. The garden will provide an opportunity to grow organic produce from seed, and the benefit of this will enable people to have a greater understanding of why locally produced fresh food is good for us and the environment, and it will allow easy availability and access to seasonal vegetables, which will be shared with vulnerable members of the community. And it will also encourage and support, as I've just alluded to, supported learning in horticulture, landscaping and related skills. I think this is going to be quite an exciting part of it, because we've got quite a high population of elderly folk in the area, and we're a good wee bit away from the shops, like Parkhead or down to Tesco's, and there are folk in this community who are very, very vulnerable, and access to fresh food on a regular a regular basis can only be a boon for them, and also the young folk will get involved in that, and it'll bring together the generations. You know, young people around here are really good, they've got a lot to offer, and they're up for it, delivering the veggies, so we're chuffed about that. Fantastic response from the local youth. And that's some of the children that you can see that have already been involved in the wee garden out the back. Last summer we had a very late start, a very late window on the growing season, but the children managed to produce cabbages, carrots, potatoes, cucumbers, all sorts of peas, which they're, oh, peas in a pod, what's that, didn't know what to do, didn't like them. By the end of the season they were all fighting over them, and want more to take them home. Also, part of the challenge for the area is to reduce carbon reduction by getting people to use bikes, and we've managed to obtain a good number of bikes to help people to go to work, go to school, for leisure, get on cycling trips, get out and about. We're on one of the main cycle routes from Lanark right through the Clyde, right over to the west of Glasgow and further afield. So we're really hoping that that will take off in a much more bigger way now. It's been great last year. The young folk have been using the bike to go to colleges, to beetle about the area, to go up to the shops, to get their granny's prescriptions or the odd message. And we're hoping to start the school run if the gods are on our side, we get better weather this year, rather than the children taking the bus to school. We'll be encouraging them to cycle there and back, and also we'll be kind of campaigning to get the roads a wee bit more cycle friendly. I'm sure there are plenty of people from the cycle world here that will help us out with that one. So that's another part of what we're trying to do. Also the cycling, particularly for the teenagers, we're hoping to encourage them, because the velodrome is now here, to get involved in cycling in a more professional way, to take it up as an active sport, get into coaching and track cycling, as well as all the outdoor stuff, which will be particularly interesting as we have that fantastic facility. We'll just talk now a wee bit about the training and volunteering. We're hoping to offer the gardening and biodiversity and ecology and all the climate challenge educational awareness stuff. We're hoping that we can get people into landscaping and designing with the creative arts, the woodcrafting arts, the cycling leadership stuff that I've spoken about, coaching. Also, when we're around the new area, we'll have a better facility to do more cooking, so we want everybody in the community to get involved in community cooking sessions. And that will involve understanding a bit more about nutrition and just where your food comes from, and reducing packaging and just using that as a wee supermarket in its own right. Also, when we're there, we'll do a lot more energy awareness stuff to try and enable people to become more empowered about how we obtain our energy, how we can get the best value for our money from the energy, and what we need to do in cooperation with partners to help raise the game as far as getting houses sort of sorted out with their insulation, all the rest of it. And this is the people that I would like to acknowledge. As you can, obviously I'm not going to go through them all and read them out, but can I just say I must offer a special thanks to Tam McGarvey from Glasgow, who has worked over and above the call of duty to produce this beautiful gate, which will be the entrance to the new garden. And it's all handcrafted and designed by Tam and the folk at Glasgow. It's gorgeous. I'm so pleased about that, and I'm just hoping that that beautiful gate is emblematic of the joy and the beauty that the garden is going to bring to this community for the future.
Yes, I'm Julie, the Green Gym woman, easily identifiable by always wearing a green t-shirt. So I'm just going to tell you a wee bit about the Green Gym and what I'm going to be doing in Dalmarnock, and what I'm hopefully going to be recruiting you all for as well. For those of you who haven't heard of Green Gym, it's a health initiative And it's a health initiative which is aimed at getting people outdoors and active by taking part in practical conservation and gardening type work. So, gym but not as you know it. There is no lycra, there is no repetitions, there is no none of that horrible stuff that they make you do at the gyms. So by taking part in the Green Gym, you're allowing people to improve their health, learn new skills, try something new, and also you get the benefit of improving your local environment. And obviously here in Dalmarnock, the main thing being is that the Green Gym is going to be helping to create the community garden. So there's going to be no big contractors, there's going to be no heavy machinery, it's going to be people power, and that's why I'm here. So it's a joint venture between improving your health and the local community and the environment. So typically, any practical activity that happens outdoors can be part of a green gym. So it can be the digging and the planting and the building raised beds, but it can also be things like your health walks, biodiversity recording, and maybe even some bike cycling. If Tricia will give us the bikes for 1 week, we can enjoy the cycle path. A typical session will last about 3 hours. And the thing that makes Green Gym unique is that I make you all do stretches to start with. So we'll do a few warm-up stretches, then we'll have a bit of a tool talk. The majority of our volunteers have never done any practical activity, so we cover all the things about how to use tools and what we're going to be doing. I'm by no means an expert in everything, but I know lots of things about lots of things. So we're usually all right. So after we've done the tool talk and the health and safety talk, we'll talk about what we're going to do for the day, what the plan is, and the most important part of the session, always the tea break. I quite regularly forget tools, but I'd never forget the flasks, because I would be lynched. This is just an interesting wee graph here, and it just shows you the amount of calories that different activities burn when you're doing them. And a lot of people think, oh, gardening, it's not that hard an activity. But when you look at this actual graph here, you can see that things like felling trees, digging and tree planting, they all burn more calories relatively than things like aerobics or walking or even cycling. So there is some science that this is actually a good healthy activity, and it will improve your health and well-being by getting outside and helping me. And then this slide, again, it just, all of our volunteers take part in sort of regular evaluation and monitoring, and it just sort of shows you what people thought about the Green Gym and what it sort of helped them to do. So obviously there's a strong number of people, high number of people who found the Green Gym found opportunities to meet new people, to learn new skills, to take part in team activities, and the majority of them believed that it helped to benefit their local community, the work they were doing. So that's the sort of background to Green Gym. This is the second Green Gym that we've launched in the northeast of Glasgow. We've got one in Easterhouse that we launched last week, and then we've got this one in Dalmarnock. So they're both very, very different projects, but the one in Dalmarnock is really exciting because we've got the chance to transform a completely underused piece of land, and hopefully by the start of the growing season it will look pretty different and we'll be able to see the efforts of everyone's work.
Thank you very much again for coming this afternoon. It's just a pleasure to see you all here. There's some nice foods there, avail yourselves to, and have a lovely afternoon.